I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. I don't know if you noticed at the beginning of my podcast, I had a nice little theme. I used an app to make it. I don't know if that'll be a regular feature or not. I really would like an original theme song with a real voice on it. I just thought it would be fun to include that. Um, I don't know if I will get in trouble for even sharing that. Like I said, I used an app, so whatever. It is what it is. Um, as I was saying, this podcast is randomly random too, because I did that title already in 2023, June of 2023. So I'm not running out of ideas or anything. It's just I really couldn't think of a theme to talk about, so I'm just going to talk about a lot of stuff. First up, it's January something. I've lost track. I think it's the 9th, I believe. But we had a snowstorm today, and it dumped about 5 inches of snow on us. It's a mess out there. It's pretty, but it is a mess. I worked at my store today, and we were so busy, and I got a migraine headache from the whiteness of the snow. And I I actually had to come home and sit in a dark room with silence. I hate migraines. They really do suck. A lot of people use migraine loosely, but when you have a real migraine, oh my God, it's awful. It makes you physically ill. And it was busy, a lot of people out. A lot of people too were just trying to get home. I mean, we where I work, we serve a purpose. We're there to provide things for you that you actually need to live. And I'm not going to get into where I work. I'm not supposed to mention where I work. So if you know me, you already know. But I'm not going to do a commercial for them because this is separate from what I do. Is not who I am. What I do for my job is not who I am. I am Leonard Riggs. I am Leonard Riggs. That is who I am. Leonard Riggs Jr. to be exact. And right now I'm a podcaster who is podcasting. But a lot of people gripe about the snow. I'm in the line of thinking that, hey, it's seasonal. It's January. It should be snowing. I don't know about you. I would be concerned if it was warm right now because it's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be cold. I like my seasons. I like my winter's cold and my summer's hot and my spring's pleasant and my fall's pleasant. And I think spring and fall are my two favorite seasons. Uh I love winter for the Christmas week, and then I'm done with it. There's a little cartoon that shows a side by side of Christmas with the lights, and then January is a cold bucket of suck. That is no lie. It most certainly is. Um, what I hate about January and snowstorms is the fact that um, getting to work is a nightmare. Being there is a nightmare. It's constantly dirty floors and people getting stuck and blah blah blah. And then you got to worry about your relief getting there, and then you got to worry about getting your butt back home. So it's just, uh, I just like nice, uneventful things. Excuse me, I'm yawning. Um, I'm all about peace and quiet. But it was crazy, people trying to get those things that they were going to keep while they hibernated for a few days, which they won't. They'll get out anyway. Because a lot of people like to get out and play. We live in a rural area, so a lot of people like to get in their big trucks or whatever and go sliding around and have a good old time in the snow. I wouldn't mind getting on a sled. I'm afraid my sled days are over because I'd kill myself. But I almost fell trying to take garbage out today. And I am 58 years old and I don't bounce like I used to. So I'm kind of thinking I'd probably break a hip. Then I would be in trouble. I shouldn't joke about that, but really, I forget sometimes how old I am. I feel like I'm getting feeble in my late age. my late ages, my golden years. I get dizzy on ladders. I've got vertigo, and I can thank both my parents for that. They both had it. As many people do or do not know, I have one eye that works. I have both my eyes, but I'm blind in one eye. And there's that saying, "I'm blind in one eye and barely see out the other." That's kind of me. I'm not the best vision in the world. I'm a walking poster for taking care of your eyes, a caution poster, I should say, because I would fall asleep in my contacts and blah, blah, blah. And I ended up with a detached retina. And I didn't know it was a detached retina. I didn't have insurance and I let it go. So you cannot repair your eye after you let it go for so long. So it was a lost cause. They did surgery on my eye and put a gas bubble in it to keep my eye from, I guess, deflating. That's kind of gross, isn't it? But my one eye pulls to the right, my eye that doesn't work. So when I wake up, it's all the way over to the right, and I can manually move it if I think about it. But sometimes it creeps off on its own. When I'm taking selfies, I have to move my eye to get it to where it doesn't look like it's wonky. Yeah, that's kind of personal, I guess, but I'm usually upfront about everything. Yeah, I never thought I would be blind in one eye. It's like I said, I was warned to take better care of my eyes. Do not fall asleep in your contacts, even though they're extended wear. I had extended wear. Um, I don't know exactly how my retina got detached, but I'm sure sleeping in my contacts wasn't the best thing in the world, because I know when you try to take them out, when you wear your contacts too long, it's like pulling, oh God, it's like pulling a sticker off your eyes. They're very hard to pull off. So I probably did it that way. Plus, you could get eye infections, and you don't want that. Anything's not good for your eyes. Take care of your eyes. Take care of your teeth. Eat your veggies. Eat your veggies and watch your weight. And all when you're young. That way, when you get older, you'll have a better life. I unfortunately have not taken good care of myself, and at my late 50s, I'm starting to feel the effects of a lifetime of not eating correctly and not taking care of my eyes, and my teeth are still okay, but don't do it. Don't wait to do it when you have to. Do it while you feel good. Eat right and exercise, basically. Keep healthy, cut out your cigarettes, watch your sugar, keep your weight down, and I think you'll be a happy camper. That's basically my secret for life. But I wished I'd have known that when I was younger. I guess I did, but I didn't listen. And now I'm old, fat, and blind in one eye, and I'm so positive. So I'm sitting here the other night, and the power actually was out from all the ice and stuff that we had in a good portion of southern Illinois, including my friend who is a prepper, and he had generators, and luckily he did, because he was without power for several days. And I think his power went out Sunday and stayed off till Wednesday night. And he sent me a text and said, "Hey, I've got power." And about that time, my power went out. We blew a transformer right outside my house. I heard it pop, and it just affected 5 houses, me and my neighbors. And I'm sitting here in the dark, and I'm like, I know this is everybody, because it is pitch dark. There's no street lights or anything. So sure enough, you go to good old Facebook, and everybody's talking about it. But the transformer did blow, and I'm sitting there wondering, oh my God, that transformer blew, and half of southern Illinois is still without power, so it's going to be forever before they get this fixed. Meanwhile, I'm sitting there freezing. My cats all got on me, and they were cuddled on me, and of course they kept me warm. They're better than a blanket. But I'm sitting there in the dark, and I'm like, man, I didn't charge my phone. this and this and this. I was very ill prepared, and it took about an hour, and they had the power back on. I was very thankful for Amarin to get out and get that power back on, but I could hear him out there working, sitting in my living room. So I was very surprised how fast they fixed it, because an hour is not too bad. But man, it was already getting cold in my house. It was also the coldest night of the winter, actually, because we were in the teens, and like I said, it was literally, the temperature was dropping. You could feel it. It was getting cold. So boy, was I thankful when that power came back on. I'm going to take a break, and I will be right back with more randomly random stuff. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast, From My Head to Your Ears. And I'm being randomly random again. This is Randomly Random 2, since I did a podcast with a similar title or the same title in 2023. So I figured this is the sequel, the return of Randomly Random. Randomly Random 2, The Wrath of the Random. I don't know. I have no idea. Um, I was talking about winter and how it just is a big bucket of suck this year. But I envy kids that get winter vacation or snow days. And our schools around here had Christmas vacation, which I miss desperately from my childhood. And then they got an extended week off here because of the snow. So they've had the time of their lives. And I was like, man, I envy those kids and I envy the kids that, have good parents and stuff, because, they're warm and they have everything they need. But some of my best memories growing up were blizzards and snowstorms where I didn't have school. It was just a blast. Yeah. It was so great to hear your school was closed on the radio in the morning. We used to have to listen to a radio station called WFRX in West Frankfort, Illinois. And I'll tell you a story about WFRX. But uh, anyway, there's a man that had a real distinctive voice on there. I wish I could remember his name. If anybody remembers the announcer on WFRX, leave me a message, because I most certainly can't remember who that was. But he had a very distinctive voice. He talked like this, and he'd say, "And Benton schools are closed." He pronounced Benton. And his voice is, I wished I had a recording of it. It was a very distinctive voice, and uh, I used to, even back then, I would impersonate him. He had a really great announcing voice. One of my announcing idols, but I really can't remember his name. Actually, I may not have known his name, but I'm sure someone out there knows who that was. If any of my older viewers do know, like I said, let me know, and I'll mention it on a later podcast. But yeah, we listened to you had to get up and listen to the radio station to find out if you had school, and I just was so glad. Early on, they just would cancel Christopher School, and then it got to where it was all Franklin County schools are closed. They closed the whole Franklin County school system. And I remember, and I might have told this in one of my other podcasts. I don't know. I can't remember. But I remember one particular snow. It was like all Franklin County schools are closed, and there's like excitement, and then let down when they said except Christopher. I thought, what the hey? That was that was just cruel. So we'd have to drag our butts out, and we were all griping about having to go to school. And I remember one of the blizzards we had, the all-state blizzards of the late '70s, We had blizzards since 1978. It seemed like we had them in 77, 78, and 79, but there was one historic blizzard, and I'm not sure which one that was. Actually, I was in grade school, and I ended up getting the Russian flu and strep throat. Like, I was very sick. But literally, the night of the snowstorm, I started feeling bad and woke up very sick the next day. And there was no school; it was canceled, and we were out of school for like 2 weeks, and I was sick the whole time, except for the very last day. And I got to go outside. Seems like that happened to me when I was in second grade when I had chicken pox too. I don't remember real well there. I remember having chicken pox, but I don't remember. Seemed like I had that more in the springtime. I did have it in the springtime. So anyway, I swear I've got a memory like a steel trap, but sometimes stuff gets convoluted. But I remember very well having been sick during the blizzard, the historic blizzard, and getting well just on the very last day we were out of school, and then having to go right back to school. I think it was in the fifth grade, fourth or fifth grade. I think it was fifth grade. So I can't remember what year exactly that is. But yeah, that sucked. That was horrible. I didn't get to enjoy that blizzard at all. Because what I like to do, that was probably the blizzard of 77, maybe. Because I had a dog in 78. No, wait a minute. 79, that might have been a blizzard. I don't know. But I like to run my dog. I had a Beagle Dachshund named Barney, and I like to run him out in the snow. He actually ran me. I was a skinny little kid, and he was a stout little bugger. He was half beagle, half dachshund, and he was the funniest little dog I ever had. And he was an outdoor dog. He liked being outside. Uh, and I'd get his leash, and we'd go running in the snow, and we'd walk all the way out in the tracks, and a half a mile away. And I can remember getting my boots stuck in the snow, filling with water. And he would just keep trudging on. I mean, sometimes the snow was deeper than he is tall, and he'd just bust right through it. He loved running out in the cold, and I loved being out there with him. That was my favorite memory with my dog Barney. I mean, he passed away in 1980. I got him in the fall of 1978 at the Humane Society in Carbondale. I think it was in Carbondale, and I think I've told this story before actually, but um, he was a featured dog they had a little featured dog in the Southern Illinois on Sunday, and he was the featured dog of the week. And I was like, I want that dog. And we got there, and he just took to us, and they were like, yeah, I think he picked you. And he did. He was happy. It was funny. That was the dog I wanted, and that's the dog I got. And I already named him Barney. I said, his name's Barney. The minute I saw him, I thought, he's a Barney. That was my favorite dog name other than Murphy. And my sister named her dog Murphy, but I never had a Murphy. But anyway, he liked to run in the snow, and I had him for quite a few years, and he died in 1987, December 27th, 1987, right after Christmas. And it broke my heart once again. I get so attached to my pets. But he was a funny little doggy. I taught him how to sleep on top of his house like Snoopy. You know, he was part beagle. So he would jump up on his house, and he'd sleep on the house. Well, it was a flat. It wasn't like Snoopy's house with the pointy roof. It was a flat roof. I I guess I should say that. I told you this is pretty random. I'm just all over the place, huh? I should have took my diet pill. That makes me really chatty, but I'm actually just tired and I'm chatty. It is currently 9:03. I think I've mentioned that I was actually going to call my podcast "I'm Talking and I Can't Shut Up," but I think someone had that. I was looking through my podcasts, and I still remember the guy I went to school with who heard I had a podcast. He said, "What could you possibly have to talk about? So I ended up doing a whole podcast on what I had to talk about, and boy, I filled that up. But you know what? I'm going to have to take a break and talk about more stuff when I get back. I'm Leonard Riggs. This is my podcast from my head to your ears. I'll be right back. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears, and this is called Randomly Random 2. I might think of a more creative title when I get this done, but I keep thinking of Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan every time I say that. But I didn't know what else to call this episode because other than that, I thought I'm just going to be random again and talk about whatever's on my mind. Like I said, I had a lot to say, but nothing in particular to say about anything. What I find there's some interesting things happening. I know what I was going to talk about now. I had thought about what I was going to say, and now I remember what it was. Um, I like TikTok, and a lot of people are against TikTok because they think the China connection and that China is stealing secrets. I don't know what secrets they're stealing, but they're using it to steal secrets about our American lives. Whatever, but I do enjoy TikTok. I like the editing tools on there. I like making videos. I do a whole series of videos about what I'm watching at Halloween. My horror film festival. I do videos every day on what I'm watching that day, and I get a pretty good audience. TikTok's my favorite. I do a similar video on Facebook Reels, which goes to Instagram. So anyway, I cover all the bases, but I really enjoyed TikTok the whole time I was watching Mom. That provided me with a great deal of entertainment. So um, I I really hate to see it go. They're talking about banning the app, and right now uh, it's going through the Supreme Court as to whether or not they're going to ban it, and I'm really upset about that. So I'm afraid it's going to be banned, but I'm sure something else will pop up where we can maybe share our stuff. I remember when MySpace was all the rage and Facebook was kind of bubbling under, and I didn't like Facebook at first because it was really generic, and MySpace had all these bells and whistles, and eventually Facebook um, overtook MySpace, and now MySpace is, I think it's still out there, but it's a shadow of what it used to be. I think I've got an account on there still, but it doesn't have any of the old pages. What give to see those old pages? Uh, but I really hate to see TikTok go. So that's going to be interesting. Another thing, Trump takes office on January 20th. I know he's got a try or a sentencing for whatever they were sentencing him for. I'm not sure how all that's going to turn out either. It's could be very interesting. The country's so torn on him, it's not funny. Um, I hate that. I don't feel like I'm a part of that because I'm not that way. Who you vote for is your business. You had your reasons for voting. I think there's a lot of nonsense talking about why people voted for Trump. Um, I'm just not going to even discuss that. I don't talk about who I vote for. I don't want to know who you vote for. I don't care. The fact is he is our president now. Honestly, you have to accept who was elected and just deal with it for 4 years and vote next time. And don't hate on people for voting the way they did. Either way. So that's just my take on the whole thing. I don't like to fight. I don't like that politics has divided us all, and I don't know the radical side of both parties. They get all the attention, you know, whereas there's just normal people that are Democrats and there's normal people that are Republicans, and sometimes there's your friends and family. And the best thing to do when you're dealing with politics is don't talk about it. Keep it to yourself. Uh, unless you can genuinely have a talk about it intelligently and agree to disagree. Other than that, it's a volatile situation right now. So yeah, that's all going to be interesting. What happens to Trump? I don't know. I don't know how that'll affect his presidency. I don't know anything. I really don't watch the news. I stopped watching the news during COVID because it just was making me crazy. And I thought I'll just catch the highlights of everything. I don't watch presidential speeches. I don't watch anything. I just catch the highlights later. You know, it's all I need to know is what was important that was said and what can I take from it. That's the way I handle that kind of discussions. And I'm smart enough to know you don't talk about politics and religion with people or lack of religion. It's not a good idea. Uh, so there's that. And I think I'm winding down. I'm actually tired. It's almost 9:30 where I am, and I got to go get something to eat, and I need to go to bed. So I'm going to take a break, and then I'm going to wrap this up. This is this is Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. Thank you so much. I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. And I think I've bent your ears long enough, and I think I've dwelled into my head long enough because I am very tired. I need to get something to eat, and I need to go to bed. So I'm going to wrap this up. I was a little chatty in my mind. It was nice to get this stuff out of my head and onto my podcast. And like I said, every time I thank you guys for listening. I enjoy hearing from you. Uh, I enjoy your feedback. Please continue to listen. I'll continue to podcast. Even if I have one listener, I'll still do it. I figure someone will discover these episodes and listen to them eventually. um, I think this is my 70th episode. I may be wrong. That's pretty cool. Anyway, I never thought I'd be doing this long. I sometimes lose interest and quit doing stuff, but I really love to podcast. As a matter of fact, I got some new equipment coming, and I hope it'll greatly improve my podcast. So we'll see. Um, like I said, I'm Leonard Riggs, and this is my podcast from my head to your ears. Thank you for listening. Uh, I'll be back again with another episode soon. Peace.